Welcome to our Devos this week, where we have been talking about being under attack, because we're under attack. Because we find ourselves in this world where being attacked by the devil is a reality. It's not just something figurative. In fact, the Apostle Paul says in more than one occasion, in Ephesians chapter 6 specifically, and then again in 2 Corinthians, that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, that our battle is not against the flesh, that our weapons of our warfare are not carnal. But we have this realm, this unseen realm, where we are finding ourselves in the midst of a spiritual battle. So how do we survive the battle? We've talked about how the devil's main tactic is deception. We've talked about how that deception appeals to your desires of the flesh. We've even examined how the world encourages you to live in that deception because it's going to encourage you to go in the direction of the evil one. Well, today, the ultimate secret of how to finally beat the attack of the enemy is simple, but it's really hard to do, but it's simple to understand. You have to persist and resist. You have to persist and resist. I made the illustration a couple weeks ago in church when I talked about how as Christians, we want to live a life with God the way that we want to drive a Tesla. We want to have as least amounts of stops connecting to one of those chargers as we can before we arrive at our destination. And unfortunately, that's how we view our relationship with God as well. We want to connect to Him as least as possible to get the best amount of results. We want the minimum viable product of connection with God so that we can get the results that we want. When in reality, Jesus Himself says that we are to abide in Him because apart from Him, we can do nothing. And when it comes to spiritual warfare, the same rules apply. Apart from abiding in Jesus, you can do nothing. And here's the thing, folks, about attacks. You have to persist and resist the devil. It's in the persistence, it's in the daily faithfulness, it's in the getting knocked down and getting up again that you will find that victory. You might have a really good day, but then you're going to have a bad day. You might have a really good day where you've overcome that lie, where you've seized and replaced it with the truth of Scripture, the truth of who God says you are. But then you're going to find a day where you feel less than. Or you're going to find a day where you feel that your flesh has completely taken control and you don't even recognize the version of yourself that's living this life. I'm going to suggest to you that, believe it or not, the devil has less power than we often give him credit for. Now, does that mean that he doesn't have any power compared to us? Not at all. In fact, it says in Jude that even the angel doesn't want to take on the devil by himself. Therefore, no believer should. But we need to instead persist in our relationship with God. James chapter 4, verse 7 says, "Submit therefore to God, resist the devil," and it says he will flee from you. The devil, as powerful as he is finite in his resources. He's not omnipotent, all-powerful like our God. He's not omniscient, all-knowing like Jesus. He's not omnipresent everywhere at once like God is. So we have to examine the truth of who he is and say, if I keep persisting, if I keep leaning into Jesus, if I keep moving in the direction that God has called me, willing to invest in my life, the Spirit of God that is already invested in me, and spend time abiding in Him, then I will overcome, then I will find my faith, then I will walk in a manner worthy of the calling of God, and that I will defeat the devil in the attack that he's placed on my life. Don't give up. Persevere. Stay true. God hasn't given up on you. You shouldn't give up on you. God hasn't given up on your fight. You shouldn't give up either. The more you persist, the more you resist, the sooner your battle will come to an end.